Welcome to the channel, guys. As you can see here, we have a pre-production model of the Giant Stride. It's from Secondhour. They've sent it out for us to have a look on this channel. They've actually sent us two watches. They've sent this out as well. This is the Bullseye Red. To be honest, I didn't think I was going to like this, and I've been wearing this the whole week. I was going to size this up and wear it, and I thought, nah, you know what? This looks cool. So I've been wearing this. It wears well. They both wear well, but we're going to have a close look at both of these models. They're going to be available shortly, so stick around and we'll see what they're all about. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So as you can see here, we have the pre-production models of the Giant Stride from Secondhour. I've been wearing this one here for about a week or so, and I tell you what, guys, as reviewers, there's a couple of things that I'd like to see changed in certain watches, and after wearing it for a week and experiencing it, I thought, gee, it'd be great if they could change this or that, and they're actually changing the things that I experienced I didn't like on this watch. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Let's get into its specifications. We'll run through it. There's quite a bit I want to say about these two watches because I think the quality is really, really good. They're offering quite a bit value for money, and as a tool, they're not only extremely functional, but they're also finished really, really well. So that's impressive. And I don't expect anything less from Secondhour. From their Gin Clear, their Mandela, the watches that I've seen on the channel here, they've all been really, really well spec'd and really well finished. So I didn't expect anything less with this. But let's get on to it, guys. What we have here is a case diameter of 42 millimeters. The case height comes in at, I'm measuring at 12.8. The specs say 13.2, but this particular one here, I get 12.8 millimeters. The lug width is 20 mil and the lug to lug distance is 46.7. So that's an interesting find that both these watches, I measure the case height is meant to come in at 13.2 millimeters according to their specs, and I measure this in at 12.8. This one I measured in at 12.9, just under 13. So they're a little bit thinner than what the specs suggest, which is, it basically works in the favor of the wearer. So that's quite good. But the weight comes in at 156 grams, size to my 7-inch wrist, and I'll show you guys a wrist shot. Okay, so there you go. So that's how the watch sits on my 7-inch wrist, and as you can see, it sits quite well as a 42 mil, 46.7 lug to lug. The height of the watch coming in at 12.8 or 13 mil thereabouts is really nice and comfortable, but the bracelet is fantastic. This bracelet is tapering from 20 mil down to 18 here, 20.1 at the clasp, and again back to 18 and 20. So a really comfortable experience on this bracelet. I'm enjoying it. I don't normally like to wear watches on the bracelet for an entire week if it's over a 40 mil watch. So this is a 42 mil watch, and I've been wearing it all week on this, and I've not had an issue. So that's quite surprising for me. That's quite surprising. I usually would have swapped this out. I would have put something like, you know, maybe a tropic strap like that on it, or possibly one of these, you know, a isofrane style strap. That's what I normally would do, but I didn't with this. So that's an interesting finding. But getting back onto the watch, guys, as you see on the side of the case, we've got two crowns, and they're both screw down crowns. They're both loomed as well. So as you can see from the top of these, they're etched in. They've both got Swiss Superluminova, and they look pretty cool. But let's unscrew them. The one at the 2 o'clock is basically in charge of our inner bezel. So as you can see, we can turn our bezel to wherever we want. Let's say we were to go there, push it in, lock it in, away you go. So because of that, we get 200 meters of water resistance, but also because of that, the bezel is not going to move. So wherever you set it, it's going to basically stay, which is fantastic. No more issues with misaligned bezels, guys. You have the ability to align it wherever you want. So that's a really cool feature. There's your minute hand, lock it in, away you go. The second crown basically adjusts the movement, and the movement in this is a Sellita SW200. It's a high bet movement, so we'll unscrew that. There you go, it pops out. 2 clicks, and as you can see, we can hack the movement. It stopped moving. We can adjust the time to wherever we want. Let's say around there. Lock that in, the movement starts. Single click, and we can also adjust the date. So as you can see, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the rest. Bang. So we latch it on, we screw it in, locks in, and we've got 200 meters of water resistance. So specification wise, I think, you know, I think Secondhour has really thought this one out. They've really spent some time thinking on how they're going to approach this watch. The inception of this particular watch was around 2019, so it's taken several years back and forth to get it right on how basically the owner, Peter, how he would be happy with his watch, so that when he produces something, we would be happy. So what I've got in the hand is pretty cool, but there are a couple of faults that I found during the duration of the week that I was wearing it. I thought, oh, you know what, it doesn't need this, or it doesn't need, or it could add this. And interestingly enough, these are some of the faults that they're actually changing in their literature after reading it. I thought, gee, this is cool, this is great. So it's exactly what this watch needs, and I'll get to that. Now, getting onto the dial itself, as you can see, you've got a beautiful detailed dial. Those hands, they're diamond cut, they're razor sharp. You know, the facets on these are super sharp and very clean and very crisp. And like I said before about legibility, I thought I was going to suffer with legibility with this white dial because, you know, having the white hands, but it just seems to work. You know, from red tips, you've got a decent border around it, but plenty of superluminova, plenty of lume on this. And what they have in these is 8 layers of Swiss BGW9. So I'll show you guys a lume shot. And as you can see, this is a Christmas tree. It's really lighting up. From the bezel, the markers, the hands, it's just a pleasurable experience. And it's an interesting watch. It's a really it's a watch that gives you a little bit of feedback, but also a lot of pleasure being able to read it in different lighting situations, both watches. But when I say both watches, there's actually 4 different colorways that they offer. What I've got here in the hand is the royal blue. We've got the bullseye red on the right. They also offer a slate grey and a combat green. So I think a nice combination of colors. For me personally, yeah, when I saw these watches, I said to Pete, mate, can you send me the blue and the red one? He goes, fine. So I'm having a look at this blue. I was gonna wear this, and this thing here caught my attention. This red one, it really caught my attention. I thought I have to try it on, see what it's like. And it's a loud watch for a loud personality, and I think that suits me to a T. So, but let's get back onto this watch. So some of the negatives, or some of the things that I found on this watch that could possibly need addressing or changing just to make it a better watch, are things that are basically in their literature that they actually are going to change on the production model, which is quite pleasing, and I'll share that with you guys. The dial itself, if you have a look, the dial is basically, you can see the logo on the top plus Secondhour. They're going to remove Secondhour just to simplify the dial. Not only that, where it says giant stride above the 200 meters, that's going to be removed as well. So it's going to be a much more simpler, cleaner looking dial, and that's on all colorways, which is pretty cool. The bracelet itself, as you can see, it's a very decent bracelet. I'm quite impressed with its comfort, its quality, being a H-link, properly milled clasp. They're going to add 1 extra micro adjustment. For me, I didn't have an issue with that. Normally I like to have 4 or 5 or on the fly adjust. This particular one's only got 3, and I didn't have an issue. As you can see, I've got it on the furthest one, and the watch is sitting slightly loose on my wrist, so there is a little bit of leeway. So it seems to be sized nicely for my type of wrist, which is cool. But again, for more variety, they're going to add an extra micro adjustment, which is fine. The case itself is my biggest flaw, and I found that the case, look, I'll show you guys something. It's basically brushed vertically here. There's a high polished bevel and brushing up the top of the lug. It looks quite nice for a tool. It's decent. Legibility is great. The fixed bezel, internal rotating, it's good. But what I did find in usage was that the side profile of this, it really would have benefited from a slight curve, or a little bit better contouring and so forth on the underside. And it's exactly what they're doing. So that's, I'm really, it's good to see that when a company gets a pre-production model themselves and they start mucking around with it, and oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, because it's different seeing something on the screen when you design it and when you get it in the hand. And for me, as a reviewer, I've got this in the hand, I've worn it all week, and that's one of the things I thought, gee, it really would have just, subjectively speaking, it really would have benefited as a side profile on this case, and I'm glad that's one thing that they're addressing. Again, one more negative that I found on this watch, there is no diver's extension. There is none, and they haven't included that, so I don't know why. That's maybe an oversight. It can be used as a diver, having 200 meters lockdown crown, so that's a no-brainer for me. But again, just addressing it there for you guys. But I'll explain when the watch is being released. Their launch date is September 2021. The exact date is to be confirmed, but they're not going through a Kickstarter, guys. They're actually going direct from their website, which is really cool. So there's no delays and this and that and what have you. Their full recommended retail price on these watches is going to be $725 US, but their launch price is going to be $615 US, and that's limited to 350 pieces. So, you know, I think getting as an early bird, you can get in a decent price. It is a lot of watch. It really is a lot of watch. I think, you know, having these in the hand and experiencing this one on the wrist for the whole week, it's been really cool. I've enjoyed it. I'm not a big 42mm fan of wearing a watch with a bracelet all week, and this has been comfortable. This has been good, so I haven't had an issue with that. But I wanted to share it with you guys. One more thing I will explain about these watches: the cases themselves and the bracelet, they're going to be offering a 1200 HV hardness coating. So the finishing of the watch is great, but the actual hardness, so in other words, to avoid scratches and dents, or, you know, mainly scratches and stuff, it's great that they're offering something like this on a watch like this. And the reason I say that, I actually reviewed the RZE Resolute recently, the blue one, and that had a 1200 HV hardness coating. It's a titanium watch, and I tell you what, I've scraped it with a shovel, I've hit it here and there on my tripods doing photography, and it hasn't marked. So putting it something like this on a stainless steel, I'm really keen to see what the result's going to be like. I'm really keen to see if it works, and if it, you know, does produce the results that we're expecting. So that's a real big plus. But lastly, guys, the case back, as you can see, it's a embossed case back. It's quite nice. It's got a diver just about to, or basically diving into the water or jumping in. So, you know, it's a really cool piece. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to like this. It actually does look good in the flesh. It does wear well on the wrist. But there's quite a few colorways. You know, I encourage you guys, check them out. If this is your style, by all means, check them out on their website. You know, watch this space, as they say, you know. But thanks again for watching, guys. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. The watch has been something that's been on the cards for since 2019, and it's finally here. Well, a pre-production model is here, which is good. We've got it in the hand, and the finishing, the quality, even though it is a pre-production model, it's pretty much up to high standards, and I didn't expect anything less from Secondhour, because all their watches that I have reviewed seem to have been at a decent level. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, let me know your thoughts, what you think of these watches. They're a decent looking watch. They, as far as engineering wise and how they function, spot on. They're really cool. They're finished well. The case finishing, the comfort of this, I really can't fault it. A couple of little nicks and knacks here and there, but again, they're getting addressed. Overall, it's just all subjective. So, but thank you again, guys. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next video.